this is going to be this is going to be a live Q&A with Fred. The Q&A with Freds I've done for years, actually, but with a rather year-long more hiatus in between. But I used to do the Q&As with Freds on my YouTube channel back when I cared about YouTube, and back when most people cared about YouTube. I think that most people have forgotten about YouTube. There's a reason why we're on Twitch here. So I'm gonna answer questions. And the recent couple of Q&As with Fred, I have answered questions from random websites, often sketchy, just by searching random questions on Google. So I got a huge list. This one I decided to settle with because it seemed the least intrusive. It seemed to have the least amounts of obnoxious ads. It's Improv, is called, which I think is a pun on improv, like improvisation, and Rob and imps. So it's like Rob, an imp named Rob, who is good at improv, which I would like to see. You can see they ordinarily write about gear, about tech, about living, which is good, because I don't like internet websites that write about death, vehicles, buying guides, etc. So I think this etc. is everything else in the world, which is generally how I see things. This is my kind of worldview. Gear, tech, living, vehicles, buying guides, etc. This is a man's website, clearly, as you can tell, because there's a fire, which I typically associate with 250 funny questions to ask, the only list of random questions you'll ever need. All these websites always promises so much. This is the only list of random questions I'll ever need. I don't need to have only one list of questions. I can have a few lists, if that's fine. You don't have to compete. This isn't like high stakes competition. It's not like a car. I'm likely not going to have more than one car, but I might have more than one list of 250 funny questions to ask. It counts as culture, apparently. It's not high culture, I don't think. It's not even low culture. It's like underground culture, the underworld culture, hell culture, by Quinn. From June the 13th, 2018. And I'm gonna read here. Starting conversations can be hard, especially with someone you don't know very well. Sometimes even a good opening line can fall through, leaving you shuffling through a list of yeah and scrambling for the next words. I'm not gonna read all of it because, you have to go and read this article on your own. I'm not gonna spoil it. But I guess I am going to spoil it because we're going to go down. And you still see the ads because I haven't done some sort of blocking. So I hope they get money for this. So here we have the questions. 250. I'm not going to answer all of them because I am not a psychopath. But if you want to go and have a look for yourself, you can. Because that would be so fun. Let's answer them together, why don't we? So let's go up to the first one, and this takes ages to scroll. What is the funniest name you have actually heard used in the real world? And that's a bad one. What is the sexiest name you can imagine? Agnes Horse. That's very sexy. What is the least sexy name you have ever heard? Milton. Goat. Well, no, that's wrong. Goats are sexy. Milton, what's this unsexy animal? Milton, cockatoo. No, that's just a funny pun name. I can't think of any unsexy animals. I think all animals are sexy. You know, even the bugs. I mean, they have this kind of fetish type of appeal to them. Maybe Milton Gruel. That would be unsexy. What sport would be the funniest to add a mandatory amount of alcohol to it? Well, that's like with darts. I understand that darts pretty much have, as a requirement, mandatory alcohol, which is why darts is so fun for some people to watch, because, you know, you get to watch people drink beer while they're playing. Although supposedly, in modern days, the Darts Foundation or the Darts Organization, the Dart Corporation, whatever it's called, they have decided, no, we are not going to drink as much. It's a hideous stereotype of darts players. We are going to restrict the amount of alcohol you can drink, which offends me. It goes against my beliefs. But what sport would be the funniest to add mandatory amounts of alcohol to? Shooting with rifles, because you might accidentally kill some birds, and that would be funny, because it's really funny when you see, you know, people shooting birds with guns, and then you see the birds falling down from the sky. Blop. That's funny. So yeah, that would be very funny. A person might die. There might accidentally be a person shot, which would be less funny. It wouldn't be entirely unfunny though, especially if it's someone fat, because seeing a fat person fall down, that's really funny. Take it from me, a fat person. If you could replace all of the grass in the world with something else, what would it be? I don't know about the ecological impact of that. I mean, grass obviously isn't, especially like manicured grass that you mow frequently and all. Obviously, that isn't very impactful to the climate, because we cut it, so it's pretty much neutered. But wild grass, I do believe, has a big impact. And it's home to a lot of creatures, little bugs. So if you say, I mean, the answer to this would be something like, Lego bricks, because wouldn't that be fun? You know, it would hurt our feet, but you know, all the kids would go out and play all the time. But the kind of impact that would have on the environment, I think, is too great to even entertain the thought. So I kind of have to boycott this question. I can't consider it. If you had to choose one animal to help you win a fight, which animal would you choose? Well, a tiger, obviously. I don't think people can defeat a tiger if they go one-on-one against a tiger. And I just have to make sure that a tiger doesn't turn around and kill me, which is difficult, because tigers do kill people. I've talked about tigers before. I'm very skeptical of tigers. I don't like people owning tigers as pets. Not because it's cruel against the tigers. It's just I don't really trust tigers. I think the tigers is a mortal enemy for humans, and we should not cuddle up with tigers. We should fear them. If you could morph two animals to make one super animal, what two animals would you choose? This is a silly question. Obviously, you would have to take some sort of bird that can fly and some sort of fish that can swim and create this flying, swimming hybrid. If you took something like a shark and combined that with an albatross, then you would have really quite a nightmarish creature. That I think if someone invented that animal, crossed those two animals, we would curse their name for the rest of existence. So maybe to make it a little bit less dangerous, we could cross a little sparrow with a cod. I don't even know if that could fly, because cods can be quite big, but that could be quite hilarious to see. What movie would be greatly improved if it was made into a musical? Dinner with Andre. I think that would be quite hilarious. If you could choose one musical artist to marry, but could never listen to their music again, who would it be? Well, it's gonna have to be a musical artist that is very attractive, and I think I could get along with, but I hate their music. So I don't know, Katy Perry. I don't particularly like her music, but she is attractive because she is a woman, and I find all women attractive. If your 5-year-old self suddenly found themselves inhabiting your current body, what would your 5-year-old self do first? Cry. Cry a lot. I was actually 5 years old when I had my first existential crisis, and I cried kind of near constantly for a whole week. My mother got really upset and worried about me. So yeah. What is something that everyone looks stupid doing? Well, I mean, it's hard not to think of this sort of obvious, where obviously everyone looks stupid wearing their trousers on their heads, their underpants on their head. But that's not really a fun answer, because you're supposed to be witty, and that's just obvious. But I guess sometimes what the obvious thing is the best answer, and the brevity is the soul of the wit, as they say. So everyone looks stupid wearing their underpants on their head. Have you ever sent a text message to the wrong... I don't send text messages, so we might as well skip that one. I don't communicate with people. I don't believe in communication. What are 3 items you could buy together at the grocery store to make the cashier laugh? I don't know. I thought about it, because I thought when I was a teenager, when I was more naughty, more of a bro, as they call it, I thought it would be very fun to sort of dare a friend of mine to go and buy a cucumber and some condoms, because he would, suck on the cucumber with the dildo on or something. But I guess I also thought, that the kind of oddest food combination I think I could imagine is like coffee and ketchup. If you imagine someone, with just some powder coffee with a spoon, pouring ketchup on it and then eating it. If you saw someone doing that on a bus, you would think that's a very eccentric person. And I think we can add... what could we add to that? Cream, actually. Yes, cream and coffee kind of works together. But I think the combination of just the coffee powder and the ketchup and the cream would be disgusting. I don't know if that would make the cashier laugh, but I'm not really about making people laugh. Have you ever caught something on fire while you were cooking? Not when I was cooking, but I have accidentally caught fire to my hair. It didn't smell very nice, but that wasn't because I was cooking, that was because I was drunk, and I was about to blow out a candle. I think we're going to have to skip some of these. Words, something that are really popular now, but in 5 years, ninja. What is the most embarrassing moment from high school? What is something you refuse to share? This is stupid, because by definition, if I tell you something I refuse to share, I have shared it. So this is a sort of gotcha question that mostly cops do, and I don't want to participate in that kind of manipulation. What would be the hat to end all hats? What could you wear on your head that would make people stop what they are doing and stare in awe and amazement? I like hats, but I have a very big head. I mean huge head. I have too big of a head. If I had a small body and a trim body, I could easily be a movie star. Because all movie stars have huge heads. I have a huge head, but I also have a huge body, so it kind of doesn't really work out that well for me. But that means that I can't wear any hats because there are no hats my size. And if I ever do wear a hat, I look ridiculous. So I refuse to participate in this question for that reason. Hats they don't offend me, it's just they trouble me. What is your favorite dance move to do while you are at the club? I don't know. Believe it or not, dear listeners, I do not dance a lot. I am not a good dancer. I am a good, dancer, quote unquote dancer, but not a good dancer. Fuck you dance moves. If animals could talk, which would be the rudest? Well, I'm inclined to say cats. But I don't think cats are rude. Cats are like the goth girl that you know that might look like they don't like you, that they're sort of hateful. But you know that deep down they're not that way. They're kind of like big ol' pussycats, most cats don't hate you. Most cats likes you. They just cats are the sort of people that they like people who don't like them, like the goth girls who don't really look like they like anyone, but they do kind of get attracted to people who don't show them any interest. The other goth boys who stand there smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee, and they black coffee obviously, and they get up close to those goth girls and they say, "Oh, well, yeah, you hate the world too," and the goth boy says, "Yeah, I hate the world. Oh, can we hate the world together? Okay." That's me smoking cigarettes. So I don't think it's cats. I think this might be kind of unexpected, but nightingales and other birds that are known for their beautiful birdsong, I think they would be the rudest, because effectively all they're saying all day long is "fuck me, fuck me, fuck me." So they would be the rudest animals. Which animal do you think would be the most polite? Well, one of my favorite animals is kakapos. The kakapo, and is a very close to extinction animal from New Zealand. It's a flightless parrot. And I love the kakapo, and they all look like sort of slightly plump Victorian English noblemen with mutton chops and everything. So I think they would be quite polite but also funny, They would have that kind of spark inside of them. They wouldn't be so entirely prudish. And I think that's a good combination. I think the best combination is to be polite but also humorous. I'm gonna take off my headphones actually, because I don't need to have them on, because I'm not playing anything. In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for? Green nature. What inanimate object do you wish you could eliminate from existence? What do you think I am, some sort of Thanos? No, I didn't remove inanimate objects. Kind of by definition, he removed animate objects. Inanimate objects... Like, I am a hateful, bitter person, but not for inanimate things. That's kind of where I draw the line in my hatred. I don't hate inanimate objects. That's sort of I would say the definition of someone who is close-minded to the point of ridiculousness, if they actually hate inanimate objects too. But I guess like spoons, whatever. What are some things that are okay to do occasionally? What are some things that are okay to occasionally, but this is spelled all strange. What are some things that are okay to occasionally, but definitely not okay to do every day? They missed do. This is unforgivable. This is unforgivable. I'm not gonna do that one for that reason. What is the weirdest thing you have seen in someone else's home? Well, my friend growing up, my best friend growing up, his father was a movie director. He made some movies. And and he had some props from movies. He had one prop, which was an alien, not a real alien, a prop, which is a fake of something. He had a sort of plastic rubber alien that was hanging out in his house in one of the beds. He kept it sleeping in one of the beds, and one day my sister saw it and got really scared. So this wasn't the weirdest thing I saw, but something weird my sister saw and scared her. So that's, I guess, weird. Who do you know that... Oh, fuck that. What would be the coolest animals to scale up to the size of a horse? A rabbit. Because it would be that, like that movie, The Night of the Lupus. But it's called Lepus. Yeah. It wouldn't really... Well, I mean, I don't really think that animals can... Small animals, if you scale them up, I don't really think the physiognomy, the biology works anymore. I think that would be the case of, like, people talked about giant ants before. The problem, if you were to scale up a giant ant, is that the legs of the ant wouldn't be strong enough to hold up the huge body anymore. So as soon as you scale up the ant, it would like explode because it just can't work anymore. That's a big problem with, you know, making giant humans. One of the reasons why you can't kind of say safely that giant humans have never existed is because the kind of big, massive heart you would have to have in order to still kind of transport blood around your body at, say at 30 feet tall. That would be it would be the heart the size of, an elephant. So and you would just have to eat so much to keep, up your energy. Smaller creatures are more efficient than bigger creatures, and I think that if we scale smaller creatures up, they just wouldn't. They would just be in total misery. So I said bunny, but I'm afraid if you were to scale up a bunny to the size of a horse, it would be in the worst kind of misery, and I would have to have that on my conscience. And I'm not really prepared for that. I would feel very bad. What is the most embarrassing thing you have ever worn? When I was a kid, I wanted to wear bandanas for a while. So yeah. I'm not gonna elaborate on that, it's just embarrassing. If you could kill off any characters from a current TV show, who would it be and why? Well, Friends reunion is about to happen, and I would like to see Joey get killed off, because he already had his spin-off. He has already overstayed his welcome. He doesn't deserve to be in the reunion again. I wonder if they're gonna treat that Joey spin-off as canon or not. Is it canon or not? Are we gonna have to have, lore channels on YouTube arguing about proper Friends canon? What part of a kids movie completely scarred you? Not really. Well, maybe it's not really scary, but it may have scarred me. But it was more a case of I just liked it and liked how sad it was, and that's the Winnie the Pooh movie, Search for Christopher Robin, where they believe that Christopher Robin has, basically died. They mistakenly hear that Christopher Robin is off to school, and they mistakenly hear that as Christopher Robin has gone off to Skull. So you see, like, they obviously react like, oh my god, what does that mean? Is he dead? Is he going to die? We need to save him. And they go on a journey, and it's just very somber. It has a moment where Winnie the Pooh, that is, not Winnie, some other Winnie the Pooh, he falls into this kind of crevice, this ravine, and he is at the bottom of this cave, and he's trying to get out, and he can't, because he's a stupid little bear. He's a fat little chubby bear. He has no critical skills. He has no idea of how to, do anything properly, except for just sitting down and eating honey all day. And he is there in the bottom of this cave, and he is staring at the reflection of himself, and he's just going through this kind of nervous breakdown in the movie. And then eventually he realizes that, he may never see Christopher Robin again, but that's fine, because he has Christopher Robin inside of him. Christopher Robin was inside of him all along. And that made me cry as a kid, but I don't think it scarred me. I just like that movie. What movie did you think was too scary when I was a kid? Not really any kind of movie I thought was too scary. I was scared because I remember seeing at my friend's house, actually the same friend whose dad had that rubber alien. My friend's dad at one point played Starship Troopers, but the bugs and stuff. And I saw that and thought, that's scary. Because, it is. For a kid. I mean, I wasn't a teenager, I was a kid. And seeing, a bunch of bugs, and the violence was scary. What used to be considered trashy, but now is very classy. Tattoos, I guess. Tattoos used to be something that only sailors would get. And, sailors are at the very bottom of society. We all hate sailors. We all push sailors around, and we all mock sailors, and we like to go down to the harbor and just laugh at them. And they used to be that only they got tattoos, and if you got tattoos, people would think, well, here goes a sailor. And now I don't think that. I see someone with a tattoo, and I don't think of them as being a sailor. I rarely think of them as being sailors. I actually don't think I've ever seen a sailor in real life. They might be made up. If you had any power to shrink any one object and carry it with you in your pocket, carry it with you. It's like yo. Carry it with yo in your pocket. What item would it be? Would you be able to unshrink it again? Because if I were to shrink, say, a refrigerator for all the food, because I like to eat, I'm fat, that would be kind of great. I could carry around in my pocket. But then if I wanted to eat the food, would it be miniaturized too? Or would I be able to, unshrink the fridge all of a sudden and just gorge on all the food? Because I'm a fat person and that's what we like to do. If I can't unshrink it, then this is entirely pointless, and I don't like this question. If you were arrested with no explanation, that happens all the time, because I'm persecuted for my race, what would your friends and family assume you had done? I don't know. I don't think my friends and family believe I am capable of committing crime, which is kinda insulting in a weird way. I would hope that they had assumed that I had suddenly gone on a murder spree, or I had done some sort of weird, like mastermind type of, hijinks to try and lure out vigilantes. I mean, I would hope that they would have, that high thoughts of me, that they would think, oh, Fred is going to jail. He must have murdered some big shot politician. But they probably would just assume that I'm innocent, which I don't like. What's the most ridiculous fact that's just putting me on the spot? I don't like that. What set of items could you buy that would make the cashier... Didn't I just answer this? Seriously, improv? What's this kind of standard you don't have? Like, let's look, what are 3 items you could buy together to grocery store to make the cashier laugh? And this is, you can make the cashier... This is a sham. What is that's also, like, what is the most ridiculous fact, What is the funniest joke by heart? This is just putting you on the spot. This is bad. This is bad questions, because this is the sort of thing that does not work as icebreakers. the way that icebreakers are supposed to work is that they're supposed to reveal something interesting, but they're not supposed to be too taxing to answer. These questions are taxing to answer. Try to come up with a funny joke on the spot. People don't like to do that. There's a reason why comedians hate it when you say, hey, you're a comedian. Hey, tell me a good joke. They don't do that sort of stuff. Stand-up comedians nowadays don't even tell jokes. They tell stories, anecdotes, or just act in character, whatever. This is... I hate. Improv, I hate you. I hate you, Quinn. Quinn is the writer of these ridiculous questions. What are the unwritten rules of where you work? I work on my own as a cartoonist, so I guess unwritten rule is that I don't have to wear trousers when I draw. I haven't actually written that down, but it is true. What is something that you just recently realized that you are embarrassed you didn't realize earlier? Ooh, that's too heavy. That's about self-doubt and self-hatred, and I do have a lot of that, but I don't really want to get into it now, because this is a fun moment between you and me. But it's the funniest corporate business screw-up you have heard of. If you die and find out that everyone gets to choose a 12-foot by 12-foot square to stay in alone for eternity without being able to influence or contact the living world, what kind of hell is that? Being isolated in a 12-foot by 12-foot square. If you die, is that what happens if you live a good life? Is that what happens if you live a good life, or is that what happens if you have sinned? And as I said, I haven't sinned. I haven't gone to jail for murder. I am innocent. So why would I have to be imprisoned for eternity in a 12-foot by 12-foot square? This is getting increasingly more reactionary, this line of questions. What's the best type of cheese? Okay, that's easy. Well, no, it isn't. There's so many good cheeses. Oh, God. Brie. But if I say brie, I'm gonna feel bad about all the other cheeses I'm not saying. If you're a kind queen for a day, why can't it do a simple... Well, I guess this is spell check, because technically it's not spelled wrong, but can't they just do proofreading? Get someone else to read it. Get improv. The imp named Rob, get him to read it, Quinn. You don't have... If you're a king or a queen for a day, I have to do my own editorializing here. And that's not what I sign up for. If you're a king or queen for a day, what would be your first rule that you would change? I live in a constitutional monarchy that has representative democracy. The king and queen they're just a ceremonial role. They don't have any powers, so I can't answer that one. What kind of cult would you like to start? There we go. A good question that is true to my personality. Obviously a modern cult of Dionysus. In one sentence, how would you sum up the internet? In one sentence, well, it can be a very long sentence. And I'm not going to do the sort of hack thing of saying, internet is about porn. Because it isn't solely about porn. It's also about doing your taxes. And getting panicked about social media. So, the internet. Humanity in a nutshell. That's good. First, think of a product. Now, what would be an absolute worst brand name for... That's stupid. It has to do with mind reading, and I can't deal with that. If all the states in the USA were represented by food, what food would each... Do I need to go through each state in America to answer this one? That would take ages. I can just say the whole of America would be represented by some fake cheese. That's just all states in America, like it or not. What are some of the nicknames you have for customers or co-workers? I don't have customers or co-workers. If I did, I would call them all sheep. What would be the absolute worst name you could give your child? Well, we've seen that now with Elon Musk naming his child, what was it, It was A and E combined. 10735, whatever it was. That's probably the absolute worst name you could give your child. How appropriate we got that question. What are some fun and interesting alternatives to war that countries could settle their differences with? Well, obviously some sort of esports. The problem with that, if countries were to settle the differences with like League of Legends, that probably would actually do more harm than full-scale world war. So it would be something like probably more of a game like hopscotch. That probably would be quite fun. What would the world be like if it was filled with male and female copies of you? It would be paradise. Oh, it would be so much easier and so much sexier, all those female copies of me. You know, if I were female, I'd be the fucking sexiest woman around. I can tell you that. I am already the sexiest woman around, if you ask some people. What's the best Wi-Fi name? Fuck that. If you could create a holiday, what would it be called, and how would you be celebrated? No. I don't like holidays. I like Christmas because I am a softie at heart. I'm not a Grinch. But I don't like other holidays. I do kind of like All Saints Eve, even though I'm not religious, but I just like taking a moment to think about my lost relatives and go to the graveyard and see all the candles. That's nice. Midsummer, I guess, is nice, but we never really celebrated Midsummer the way some Swedes do. If you had to give up one thing that you do every day, what would it be? I don't do a lot of, pointless stuff. I am very organized. I'm very efficient. I'm like a well-oiled machine, so there's not one thing I could give up and think I could, survive and go on normally after that. So I'm gonna skip this one as well. At some point we're gonna wrap up and we're gonna play a game. If you had to give up one thing that you... Oh, fuck that, I answered that. If life were a video game, what would some of the cheat codes be? Okay, that wasn't them. That wasn't the site screwing up. That was me screwing up. That was me not speaking properly, which happens sometimes. Because I am absolutely not an AI program trying and beat the Turing test. This is not a malfunctioning software issue. This is just me misfunctioning with my tongue. How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? Just one, strategically placed. What would it be the worst? Buy one, get free sale of all time. What is a hot dog a sandwich? No. Well, maybe. That's a metaphysical question I'm not ready for. Because if someone calls a hot dog a sandwich, then it is a sandwich, according to them, and that's all that counts. What secret conspiracy would you like to start? I would like to take over the world in secret and appoint a bunch of people that I trust, because I think that I could fix the world, because I have great faith in myself. What would be the worst thing for the government to make illegal? Breathing? We would all die instantly. No, I think we would actually defy that law, and the government couldn't stop us all. But a few people would go to jail, and it would be a bad thing. So it would still be a horrible thing for the government to make illegal. Which body part do you wish you could detach, and why? That's just potentially horrible body horror. I would say like in my hand and stuff, just for that Addams Family thing of, the thing running around the hand. And it would also be quite fun for sex. What is the weirdest thing a guest has done at your house? No. Gotten drunk and started yelling too much. If you had... But I don't live in a house. What do you take me for, a rich man? If I was a rich man... If you had to give up either brushing your teeth or brushing your hair every day, which one would you choose? Well, considering that I don't, believe it or not, I don't brush my hair every day. No, it's true, I don't. So I guess I would have to give up brushing my teeth. But why would I have to give that up? Is someone pressuring me to stop brushing my teeth? Is there anyone in the world pressuring other people to stop brushing your teeth? Maybe if you have some sort of like psychotic break and you're brushing your teeth like 24/7, that would probably be quite bad. But why would anyone need to give up brushing their teeth? What's invisible but you wish people could see? This is getting into like schizoid personality disorder territory. Like, am I supposed to say, lizard people or whatever? Like, what's invisible but you wish people could see? Do you mean like some sort of abstract concept like hope? You can't see hope, that's true, but would I like people to see hope? Whenever people feel hope, there's like fireworks going off. I don't know if I would like that. I think that if something is invisible, it's probably invisible for a very good reason. We shouldn't go prodding. Yes, that's my creed against curiosity. I mean, have you seen that movie? What's it called? The movie from the Reanimator guy, From Beyond, whatever, about them doing research into like extra dimension, and they get infected by a bunch of Lovecraftian worms. Yeah, that's what happens when you research stuff science. Stop it. Don't research things we can't see. If something is invisible, it's probably invisible because it's about to kill us. What movie completely changes its plots when you change one letter in its... we're gonna stop with this. This is stupid. I hate you, improv. This is bad. Let's just go down to something random at the here. 124. We're gonna look at 124. Which historical figure would you like to be? It would be so unfun to be an historical figure because you would know how everything turns out. It could go with like Abraham Lincoln, and yes, that would be fun to have that legacy, but I know how it ends, and I know that the play wasn't very good. And also, like, it wouldn't be me. I would all of a sudden be Abraham Lincoln. So whatever I as Abraham Lincoln would accomplish, it wouldn't be my accomplishments. It would still be Abraham Lincoln's accomplishments, which I don't approve of. So, yes, I don't... Oh, it just sounded like I said I don't approve of the actions Abraham Lincoln took. No, I approve of the actions of Abraham Lincoln. I just that it wouldn't be my actions, What's the right age to get married? Let's dig deeper. 14. Would you rather have a rare disease that makes you always say everything that is on your mind, or lose the ability to ever speak again? Yes, give me Tourette's. Tell me 3 things you remember about kindergarten. All the orgies. Look, I dug myself into this hole now. I don't approve of the things that Lincoln did. I think that people should get married at 14 years old, and I admitted to having orgies in kindergarten. So, this is a good place to end this Q&A, but I'm gonna be back live playing 80 Days.